All right, we have our latest duck. Shakur Stevenson ducking Devin Haney. Yesterday, it was Devin Haney ducking a fight with Keyshawn Davis and Shakur Stevenson. Today, it's Shakur Stevenson ducking a fight with Devin Haney and Keyshawn Davis banging down the door.
I'm going to whoop your ass, Debo. I'm going to whoop your ass. You get your ass whipped. Hey. I'm going to whoop your ass, so-called Debo.
To get his hands on Devin Haney, who just doesn't want that action at all. Now, let's talk about yesterday, because yesterday we saw that FaceTime between Bill Haney and Keyshawn Davis. Bill Haney being very, very nice to Keyshawn Davis, saying how good he is, despite earlier calling him absolute trash. But we saw that FaceTime yesterday. Keyshawn Davis, Bill Haney.
Listen, because it's a package deal, King. Now listen, you and your brother, we want you both. Now listen, you guys got to get together. You got to sign the agreement together that we're going back to back with you, gentlemen.
The only way this fight gets made, apparently, is if it is a contract that has Devin Haney taking on Shakur Stevenson first, and then Keyshawn Davis gets the leftovers. Well, that contract's just never going to happen. If today's news that Shakur Stevenson is refusing a fight against Devin Haney is not going to happen, Bill Haney will know that. The talks are breaking down. So how about we say to Keyshawn Davis, the only way it happens is if we get Shakur first. Now, the latest news, because last week we all saw those things about Eddie Hearn talking about Shakur Stevenson signing with Zuffa Boxing.
With Shakur Stevenson,
Yeah.
Does that kind of open the door for you to work with Shakur? Obviously,
No,
you made-
Shakur signed with Zuffa, so that'll be him moving forward. But I just don't know who they're going to put him in with, because you see, Zuffa are paying as a business, they're paying these guys 5 times more than anybody else would pay them. To fight who? Like, who are you going to put Shakur? You can put Shakur in with O'Shaquie Foster and give him $15 million. I mean, good luck to Shakur. I love him. I said to him, fucking great, mate. But yeah, it's a weird model, and it's a model that's not going to last very long.
The next day, Shakur Stevenson shutting it down completely, tweeting that, that he doesn't know what he's talking about. We've had no discussions. Don't believe what you're reading. It's cap. To today, where Shakur Stevenson, not only him signing with Zuffa Boxing, but Zuffa Boxing also getting Devin Haney with TKO, and Zuffa Boxing planning to have a fight between Shakur Stevenson and Devin Haney. Shakur Stevenson obviously now coming out and saying, I don't want that fight, refusing it, declining it. We then have the number one WBO guy lobbying with Jay Prince to the WBO to make it a mandatory fight between Keyshawn Davis and Devin Haney. I don't think you could get a better way of showing you how boxing works, because we've got 3 guys there that all apparently want to fight each other, that don't want to fight each other all at the same time. And let's talk about Shakur Stevenson versus Devin Haney first. I think the reason Shakur Stevenson is ducking, avoiding that fight right now, is purely based on weight category. I think Shakur Stevenson, he's had 1 fight at super lightweight. Let's not forget the talk coming into that fight is, can Shakur Stevenson adapt to this fight against Teofimo Lopez? Obviously he can. But it's just 1 fight at super lightweight. To take on Devin Haney, he has to go step up another division to welterweight. And for me, it's a bigger step up from super lightweight to welterweight than it is from lightweight to super lightweight. And we've seen people get caught out from that. So I don't think it's, unfair that Shakur Stevenson, if he wants to move up to welterweight, he maybe has another fight at super lightweight first, or has a warm-up fight at welterweight to adapt to the division before taking on someone like Devin Haney. And I think that would be the only reason for him ducking him. The amount of money that he would get for taking on Devin Haney, the credit he would get for beating Devin Haney and getting another belt, for me, that all appeals to Shakur Stevenson. But I do think this is purely a thing on weight category. Let's not forget, Devin Haney had 2 fights at super lightweight. Ryan Garcia, Regis Prograis. Moves up to welterweight, has his fight against Jose Ramirez before taking the world title fight against Brian Norman Jr. So, that's a lot more experience in not only super lightweight, but in welterweight for Devin Haney compared to Shakur Stevenson, who's just had the sole fight at super lightweight. A fight where he didn't really get hit in that fight. He didn't have to go through any tough periods in that fight. And I think Shakur Stevenson versus Devin Haney is going to be a lot harder fight for Shakur Stevenson than what Teofimo Lopez was. Obviously, coming into the fight on paper, everybody read that fight completely different to how it went. I think lots of people gave Teofimo Lopez a lot of credit and said this fight's going to be a lot more difficult for Shakur Stevenson than what it turned out to be. Moving up against Devin Haney, I do think we're going to see that difficult fight that I think we're all expecting Shakur to have against Teofimo Lopez. So the last thing Shakur wants is to move up against a big hitting, now powerful welterweighter when, he's had 1 fight at super lightweight. For Keyshawn Davis, him and Jay Prince lobbying to the WBO to make that a mandatory fight between him and Devin Haney. Look, if talks are breaking down, if things aren't happening between Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson and there's no light at the end of that tunnel, the WBO has a responsibility to step in and mandate that fight. And then it is up to Devin Haney what he wants to do. You can either show the world that you are a duck for not taking the fight against Keyshawn Davis, or you can defend that belt against Keyshawn Davis. And then all the answers will be solved. But up until then, it is a complete mystery. And we're just seeing how boxing works. In terms of Shakur Stevenson and Devin Haney signing with Zuffa Boxing, it doesn't come as a surprise to me. The amount of money Zuffa are offering fights and fighters, it's like Conor Benn getting $15 million to take on Regis Prograis. If I was a fighter, I'd be signing for that because that's life-changing money. The question is sustainability. Really, look, they can sign all of these guys right now. The question is, are they going to sustain paying them this much, or are we going to see Zuffa Boxing lock down all these fighters on big contracts? Once they have all of the big boxes on their rap sheet, all right, guys, you are now going to get paid like UFC fighters. That's where the things will really need to be discussed. How the WBO want to, mandate a fight between Keyshawn Davis and a possible Zuffa fighting is another thing we need to discuss when it happens, because I'm not clear on what the WBO feels towards Zuffa. We heard yesterday or the day before Mauricio Suleiman talking about the WBC belts fighting under Zuffa rules. He says, look, Zuffa fighters can fight for the WBC belt, but it's completely under WBC rules. It's a complete mess. It is boxing politics once again, but Shakur Stevenson is apparently the latest duck. Let me know what you guys think.